Hey guys, welcome to the movie show Epidemic. This is episode 14. I like doing this show, you guys.
This is a gooder. This is probably, of all the podcasts we do, this is probably the one that I like the most and don't skip out on the most.
Today on the show we have Chadley, Jay Chadley. What's your last name?
Chadley.
Okay, just making sure I pronounced it correctly. And we also got our boy Hardner, Jay Hardner, who's been with us for the last few episodes. So this is fantastic. Got some good stuff to talk about today, Chadley.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about a few movies. We're going to be talking about the new Bill Murray, Melissa McCarthy joint, St. Vincent, The Spy Who Loved Me, the next in our James Bond saga, and a kind of half sort of pretending to be James Bond-like movie called The November Man, starring former James Bond star
Almost
Pierce
forgot
Brosnan. Yeah, we watched that a few nights ago. But we got some good movies on the toll today. But we didn't discuss which of these we want to talk about first. Do we want to jump right into St. Vincent?
What do you think, Hardner?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, sure.
So St. Vincent is about Bill Murray, who is like one of my favorite actors in the world. Bill Murray comes out, and he is a Vietnam War vet who is very grumpy and angry throughout his old age, and then he is forced to babysit his new neighbor's young child, and then he was like, look, a way to make money, and then he ends up bonding with the kid. It's a cute story, and here's the deal about this movie, and this is what I just want to say before we start. I really like it. I really, really like it, but one thing that I really like about it is that they managed to take a litter of really shitty, terrible, unlikable characters and then throw them into charming circumstances, and then suddenly, bam, we like those characters.
You know what I like about that? Is that at
What?
the end of the movie, they didn't try and change those characters and make them, like, all of a sudden just really good people, like they tend to do with a lot of movies nowadays where they're heartwarming, like, he learns to love and care again by spending time with the kid. No, it's not that shit. It's just, you learn what's good about these shitty people, and you learn why they're the way they are.
Yeah, and I agree with that a lot. Now, I have one question. I have one question about this movie, and actually about Hollywood in general. Why the fuck is Chris O'Dowd not in, like, everything? That guy's amazing.
So funny.
Chris O'Dowd is fucking amazing.
Ever since IT Crowd, like, it's like, guy's been amazing. Like, he was fine in that, but, like, once he gets into a movie role, it's like, wow, he is so fucking good. Like,
Oh, so funny.
But he was the only redeeming quality of This Is 40.
I hate Melissa McCarthy, but Bill Murray somehow made her pull out a good performance at least. Well,
yeah, I thought that too. I'm not a big fan of Melissa McCarthy, but then on the exact same panel there, we also had Naomi Watts, which is an actress that I liked, and I didn't think she was very good in this, and I didn't like her character at all, not even at the end.
The Russian?
Yeah, the Russian stripper hooker. I don't know. I thought that she was just kind of, I don't know. She was nasty in the same way that Bill Murray's character was nasty, but there wasn't enough to like about her. There weren't those redeeming qualities. She was just kind of cunty.
I love Russian accents. I think they're hilarious. So
very professional movie.
Like the
review.
It's comedy.
Yeah. I do have one question about this movie though. Is it a sequel to Stripes?
I never thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
The movie started off, and we got these characters, and they're thrown into this circumstance where suddenly they have to spend a bunch of time. And Bill Murray starts to notice that this kid is sort of a pussy, so he teaches him how to fight, and he teaches him how to gamble and stuff like that. I did find it kind of
weird how quickly this old crotchety man became friends with this kid.
Well, I think it was because nobody really liked him, and suddenly there was somebody who found him whimsical in a way, and he didn't quite understand it. I felt like he was trying to learn why this kid liked him the whole movie.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then we had the we had the subplot line about his wife, who I think she has dementia or Alzheimer's or something like that,
Yeah.
Kind of a
and
combo.
and she's staying in this place, and he goes and visits her as a doctor and pretends to be a doctor. Those were some good bits. And I don't know. I felt like that sort of subplot line really humanized Bill Murray's character to more than just this stereotypical I'm
Well,
angry guy.
it also gave him all the motivation for all the terrible things he does throughout the movies. Like he gambles a lot, but it's because he's trying to make money so that his wife can stay in this
Yeah.
this care home. Which I mean is a terrible way to make money so someone can stay in a care home, but whatever. And
Yeah,
just like
he didn't have a job.
well, he had his pension from being a veteran, I would assume, and
Yeah, but
he had taken out a second. He'd taken out a line of credit against his house previously, which had just run out at the beginning of the movie, which is why he starts coming into a lot more money troubles then.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, that's the one thing that I thought weird. Now that we're on that topic, that's one thing I thought was weird about this movie is that at the beginning of the movie they almost bring up that plot line of him being somewhat financially unstable as a conflict throughout the film, and it was a conflict throughout the film, but it never really was, it wasn't really a conflict that they fixed. It was something that they were just like, he learned to deal with it. I mean, I guess
Well,
the
no,
fix is that he no longer has to pay for his wife to be in that facility, but
I totally agree because I mean, like you said, he doesn't have to pay for her to be in the facility anymore. But there was still all the debt that was in the facility because he owed them like months of back pay, and then he had the bookie or the loan shark, sorry, who was gonna
what the
beat
fuck?
the shit out of him. And then
Also-
Bill Murray strokes out and goes to the hospital, but you never see the loan shark again. Like he just no longer
Yeah.
cares about his money because the guy had a stroke.
They were
And-
like, he had a stroke. We had a stroke, you guys. That's payback enough, I guess.
I understand in the moment, it's like, let's not touch him just in case he dies, and then
Yeah.
we're held liable. But like after he's fine and is up walking again, it's like, yeah, let's go beat the shit out of him again.
Exactly.
Let's go
I
bust
mean,
some kneecaps.
I feel like what they should have done is they should have gone with something like he finally ended up suing that moving company, and then he got the money back that way, or just literally anything that sort of wrapped that together. But instead, it was just like, so we'll just forget about that. Like it never happened to begin with.
So one thing that I want to bring up is that throughout the movie, the Russian stripper hooker is pregnant, Daka, and at the end of the movie, she has the kid, and then she's just kind of living with Bill Murray. Like, is he that kid's dad, or like?
It never says. I think the main reason she's living with him is because she's taking care of him because he's stroked out, and she obviously needs a place to live because she can't strip.
That's another thing I thought weird is that he went to the bank. Oh fuck! He went to the bank, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you have negative money." And then she comes in. She's like, "It'll be $15 an hour." And he was like, "Okay, cool." And it's like, "Whoa, where the fuck did he get the money to pay her $15 an hour?"
Well,
He's only
especially
making 12.
I think the main thing there was that he knew he didn't have to pay for his wife anymore. But
You know what else? And like this all goes back to the financial thing that just kind of didn't make a lot of sense. This movie took place in America, and he was in the hospital for a fair portion of his time. He would not have any money.
he had health insurance, though. They do specifically show that he had health insurance, which I mean would have covered some of it, but probably not all of it. You're right.
But it said but no, at the beginning they showed his health insurance, and it said it wouldn't cover even a fucking like what was it? You know what I'm talking about when they look at a baby. I forget what that word is
It's called an ultrasound, and the reason it wouldn't cover it is
that's right.
she's not covered under his insurance. That was the thing.
Okay, all right, that makes sense then.
Pass it off as if she was covered under insurance because they'd just gotten married and they hadn't transferred it over. But in reality, she wasn't just. He was trying to be fraudulent about it. But he didn't have insurance.
Okay, all right, that makes sense to me now. That makes sense. Thank you, Hardner. Hardner, I just need to watch all my movies with you so I can be like, oh, why? And then you have all the explanations because you're very much smarter than you're so much smarter than me.
He's too busy like texting during movies or something. I don't know. He doesn't really watch.
That is correct. I haven't in a while. Overall, this movie had a few good performances. Number one for Bill Murray. He's so good. Melissa McCarthy was okay. That kid, though, he had never been in anything other than a short film until he did this movie. And for a kid, it's fucking good. Like, fucking really good.
I have a question about that kid though. Like, was he fucking malnourished? He is so scrawny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had weak nerd arms and
He's not
nerd.
eating at all. I don't know, man. Like you could wrap like your tiny finger around his entire wrist.
Also,
Yeah.
why did he become friends with the kid that he broke the nose of?
Because bullies only learn respect after you destroy them. That's how life works.
Yeah.
Okie doke. He beat the shit out of that kid and broke his nose. That part was awesome.
Yeah.
And he called him a pussy.
I think it is worth to note that this was from a first-time writer, this movie. So that probably explains a few of the flaws about it, but like overall, like I feel like it was really well written for most of the dialogue and stuff. Like everybody was really humanized throughout the movie, so
The movie had some plot holes, but I'm going to be honest, I loved it.
yeah,
I really loved it.
Really good. I
Yeah.
don't know if that just has to do with my undying love for Bill Murray or what, but
Yeah.
That's true. My view is probably skewed slightly.
I don't know though. I thought my undying love for Bill Murray was going to be canceled out by my vengeful hatred against Melissa McCarthy for ruining the film industry. But
yeah, well, she wasn't doing a fat lady bit for most of it, really. So
they didn't mention that she was fat once, and I got to say, I appreciate that they didn't do that.
Yeah.
because there would have been some places that Bill Murray could have been like called her a fat cunt or something.
yeah, there could have been, but they didn't. One thing I thought was weird though is that lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, when he was with his wife with Alzheimer's, she like remembered him for like a second, and then the second he looks at her, she just like forgot it.
Yeah,
I don't know how is that how it works? I don't know. I don't know.
yeah.
Also the kid's dad was hecka good looking. How did Melissa McCarthy even score that even for a minute?
He was a lawyer too.
Yeah. Rich, good-looking dude, and he was like, looking at her, and he's like, I want the Melissa McCarthy.
To play because maybe she was really, really bombing when they first met, and then they got married and they had a kid, and then she didn't lose the baby weight and she gained more weight afterwards, and that's why he started sleeping around. Boom, divorce.
I'm not specifically talking about her weight. I'm talking about the fact that she's not an attractive individual.
But I'm saying she might have been attractive when they first got married. That was what I was going.
That's true, and maybe she's bomb in bed. You never know. These are things you got to learn. This is the research you got to do.
Oh yeah, research.
Man,
So what do you find out? Is Melissa McCarthy good in bed?
Chadley's what do they call you? The Poon Detective?
That's right. I do all my research. I do all my research before I do what it is I do. But overall, I would say 100% fuck yes on this movie.
Honestly, I didn't even know what this movie was about going into it. I just knew Bill Murray was in it.
I knew he played an angry Vietnam vet. That's all I knew.
I was like wildly surprised almost everything that happened because like I didn't watch a trailer. I didn't know what it was about. All I'd seen was the poster. I'm like, yeah, let's watch this movie. It was good.
Also, Bill Murray, he's losing years fast.
He's going to die.
I was
like
really
in his
worried actually when I
90s.
first saw him in that movie. It kind of like it made me scared for the future, man. Because one day Bill Murray's not going to be alive.
Well, thankfully, hopefully I go before he does, so I don't have to deal with that.
I'm sure that'll happen.
Yeah, that
I'm
would
sure
be
it will
ideal.
too.
Like we already lost
Try and give
him.
your life as-
Oh my goodness. So yeah, I'd say 100% fuck yes. It surprised me. I thought it was gonna be mediocre, but actually I ended up really liking it. 100% fuck yes.
Bill Murray, he's at that point in his life where he can pick and choose what he wants to do, and he tends to pick things that are good these days. So
Yeah, that is also true. He also, what was it? He picked the movie Zombieland. He did that role specifically to spite somebody, I think.
yeah, it's despite Garfield or something.
Yeah, it was to make fun of it because he talked about his reason for taking it.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Also, Garfield, garbage film. Do not watch.
Trash, absolutely trash.
Bill Murray got tricked into doing that movie. Did you know that?
Well, that's what he says now, but that's kind of like that might just be a joke.
It was a misunderstanding because the guy who wrote it was named Ethan Cohen, And he didn't even read the script. He looked at the front and was like, "Oh, Ethan Cohen, one of them Cohen brothers. Yeah, fuck yeah, I'll take this." And then it's like, "Oh, not the same Ethan Cohen." He's like, "Yeah, be fucking kidding me." And then he did the movie, and then he was very bitter about it because he got tricked.
I don't think I've seen that Garfield movie, but I've heard nothing but bad things about it.
You know what I find so ridiculous though is that he talks about how much he was tricked into doing that Garfield movie and how he hated doing that movie, but he did do Yeah, he played Garfield. He was the voice of Garfield. And it was actually he actually wasn't a bad Garfield. The movie was bad though. But the thing is he complained so much about that movie, talked about how much he hated it, but he did a sequel to it.
Yeah, Tale of Two Kittens or something.
Tale of Two Kitties. Like Tale of Two Kitties.
Yeah, it's a play on.
He might have. Did he sign on for like the sequel already, like just when he did it originally, or was that just?
Yeah, that's what I thought maybe.
Or he was just joking about the whole initial thing.
No, I don't think that is a joke because the guy who wrote it actually is named Ethan Cohen.
Yeah, well, that doesn't mean that that's the exact set of scenario just because one fact in the story was true.
I'm pretty sure it's true, partner.
Just because I made eggnog the evening of Christmas Eve does not mean I actually shared it with Santa Claus, Fred. Just because there was actually eggnog.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what that means either. But whatever you're doing,
okay? It's a metaphor.
Don't you just ruined my good Garfield story, and now you're trying to ruin Christmas?
So,
what are you doing, Hardner?
I'm actually the Grinch.
Yeah. Since we're on the topic of Bill Murray.
Good segue. Let's talk about our top 5 Bill Murray movies.
Yeah, that's what we got. That's what we got on deck tonight. Some Bill Murray movies. Who wants to start off?
Bill Murray's been in so many good movies. I'll start us off. I'll start off. My number 5 was also my number 5 time travel movie. It's Groundhog Day.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's Groundhog Day. Everybody loves a little bit of Groundhog Day.
Yeah, Groundhog Day is good.
Absolutely. Movie fucks. And so does he in that movie, which is the best. Oh, wait, we didn't even mention this. He fucked. He fucked in the first 5 minutes. It was awesome.
Yeah, the prostitute.
Yeah, he fucked the Russian prostitute within the first 5 minutes of St. Vincent. He fucked. Forgot to mention. Sorry. We can move forward.
This is what is St. Vincent on the fuck meter, Chadley?
It was pretty low on the fuck meter, but there was some good fucking and some good boob cuppage, I guess you could say.
I would say it was a strong 6.
Yeah, strong 6. Maybe 5.5.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Somewhere in that area, somewhere in that region. Partner, what's your number 5 Bill Murray movie?
My number 5 movie is a movie called Get Low.
Get Low.
Yeah, Bill Murray plays a funeral home director who is hired to hold a funeral for a man while he is still alive, because the guy wants to see what people think about him.
Yeah, I believe that's Robert Duvall.
Yeah, it's a cool movie.
It's pretty good. I remember we watched that one time. It's Bill Murray is fucking hilarious in it, even though it's not really a comedy.
Dark comedy, really funny.
Yeah. All right, my number 5 is a little Wes Anderson joint called Rushmore. Early.
That's one of the ones I haven't seen actually.
It's a real early Wes movie, but real good. Jason Schwartzman and Bill Murray up in
That's Baby Schwartzman, man. That's his first movie.
Oh, yeah, he was so tiny. I could lift him.
He's got the braces.
So basically, all the people who are in every Wes Anderson movie. All right, I'm with you. I follow you.
Well, it's like his second movie, so it's in the progenitor days.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know Bill Murray is in all the Wes Anderson movies, but he has a pretty prominent role in this one. So.
Yeah.
That's fair. My number 4 movie is a movie I'm sure you guys have heard of. Now, I was trying to decide which of the 2 films I was going to pick, and I did decide to go with Ghostbusters 2. It's unpopular, but I do like it a little bit more than the first one. Unpopular choice. I think, I don't know, I find it more entertaining than the first one. I find the circumstances to be a little bit heavier, and River of Slime. Come on now.
Right.
River of Slime. I bathe in that shit.
You would. I like both the Ghostbusters movies, so I find that fair.
Yeah.
Partner?
My number 4 is actually Rushmore, so that's been said.
Hell yeah.
Oh, Rushmore. We can move on through.
What's your favorite Rushmore line?
I don't know if it's a line so much as it's all the scenarios when he's talking about all the clubs he's the leader of, and it goes through the little shots where it's him at all the different clubs. Like he's the leader of the beekeepers club and the fencing club, and just like everything. That part's pretty good.
Yeah,
I
hell
like
yeah.
that part. Or no, wait. My favorite Rushmore line is when he's talking to Bill Murray, and Bill Murray mentions that he's in Vietnam, and he goes, "Were you in the shit?" And Bill Murray turns to him, he's like, "Yeah, I was in the shit." That's probably my favorite part.
I have another question about Saint Vincent. Is it the second sequel to is Rushmore is it also?
Yeah, I think it's a trilogy. I think it goes Stripes, then Rushmore, and then Saint Vincent.
Speaking of Stripes, my number 4 is Stripes.
That's a good movie. Stripes fucks.
I really like all of those kind of Harold Ramis Stripe or era movies like Groundhog Day, Stripes, Meatballs, but I like Stripes a lot, so we'll throw that one on there. It's just a good circumstance because like the first one they're in basic training, or I mean like the first half of the movie they're in basic training and they're like not qualified at all, and then they're in a war. Like it's fucking hilarious.
My number 3 movie is a movie that every time I talk to somebody, they've either never heard of it or not seen it. This is a fucking gem, though. It's probably his funniest movie he's ever been in. It's called What About Bob? And Bill Murray plays sort of a crazy patient, and his therapist, played by Richard Dreyfuss, goes on vacation, and Bill Murray fucking follows him across the country and crashes his vacation. Such a great movie with probably one of the best endings I've ever seen. I'm not going to give it away because you got to go watch it, but it's got one of the best endings of all time.
What About Bob is an amazing Bill Murray movie. I just missed my list, but I'm glad you mentioned it. So
yeah, absolutely, it's a gem. Hardner, number 3.
My number 3 is the original Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
I really like that movie.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much you can say about Ghostbusters. Most people have seen it, and it's just a really funny movie, good movie.
Rick Moranis is the best part of the whole franchise.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's true. Rick Moranis is amazing.
Man, I'm sad he had to go quit acting to go take care of his kids, man.
But it's such a freaking cool move. Like, for all the reasons to have to quit acting, that's a pretty baller move.
Yeah, but here's the thing, is that he did that in, 1996, 1997 or something? His kid's almost got to be grown up, right? He's got to be returning to the game
soon. Right, you take your out when you can get it, man. Or else they'll pull you right back in, and then you can never...
And this is going to go on a comeback tour, Brad?
Fuck yeah, I think he's gonna start showing up in every goofy comedy and every musical that fucking surfaces.
We'll see.
I'd be interested.
I'm not convinced, but we'll see. My number 3 has been mentioned already. This is Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day.
Yeah, Groundhog Day fucks. So my number 2 is a movie that a lot of people haven't seen, and actually a lot of people judge before they actually see it. They're like, "Oh, that looks dumb," but it's actually great. It's another Wes Anderson joint. It's called The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's my number 1.
That is also my number 1. That is my favorite Wes Anderson
I cracked you boys right open.
It's my favorite Wes Anderson movie. It's my favorite Bill Murray movie. It's a perfect film, man.
It's a really good movie.
It's so great. It is so good. But also a great supporting cast as well. So, Hardner, since we already know your number 1, reveal your number 2, sir.
My number 2 movie is Caddyshack.
Yeah.
It is a really funny movie. Bill Murray doesn't necessarily have the most prominent role in it, but he's really fucking funny when he's on screen.
That's true. When he is on screen, it is the good stuff.
He just fucking murders.
Caddyshack is a classic, man.
It is. It's a very funny movie.
My number 2, also been mentioned, Ghostbusters. I went with Ghostbusters 1. I like them both, though. They're both good movies.
No love for Ghostbusters 2. I like Ghostbusters 2 better because Rick Moranis fucks in Ghostbusters 2.
That's true.
That is your entire basis for how you like movies, is the number and ratio and positioning of the fucking.
Well, we did start the worldwide fuck consortium. So,
do we have a website for that yet?
Oh no, but we'll get it.
It's a coming. So my number 1 movie is a movie that came out, I think, in 2003. Some people love it, some people hate it. It's called Lost in Translation, starring B. Murray and Scarlett Johansson when she turned 30 today. So She must have been 19 when she did that movie. Holy fuck. Very young. Very good movie though. And Colby clearly doesn't love it very much.
I mean, it's not as bad as a lot of people make it out to be, but it's also not as good as a lot of people make it out to be. So.
I agree. I'm in the same boat.
Yeah,
the only thing that's saving it really is Bill Murray. So.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna say that's true because that's not true. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies ever. So goddamn good.
I've seen it a couple times and I'm good. I never have to watch it ever again. But the rest of the Bill Murray movies on my list, I will watch those infinity times before I die. So.
I've seen all of these multiple times except for The Life Aquatic. I've only seen that once.
Ooh, you're making a mistake there.
You fucked up. All right,
fucked up.
So there it is, Bill Murray. It's been unanimously decided that The Life Aquatic is fucking good. So go and check it out. And this is the part of the show where we are going to move on to James Bond. We're going to talk about little old Jimmy Bond.
Old Jimmy B.
Old Jimmy B. Now, I feel like we're getting into the part of the saga where these actually are starting to feel more and more like actual movies rather than just, like silly episodes of a TV show, like...
Really? Because this one had, like, every single one of the James Bond tropes in it, like, within a very short period of time.
Yeah, but it was cinematic. I'm talking about cinematography. They still don't get the fight scenes need music. That's still something they're struggling with at this point.
Still eludes them. I saw the Austin Power movies back in the day, and I understood that they were based on this film series. They're a parody of this film series, but you never
specifically this movie.
Yeah, this one and what was the other one?
I know which one you're talking about.
One with number 2.
Yeah, the one with the volcano. I don't remember which was it. It wasn't Thunderball. It wasn't. It was before Diamonds Are Forever.
It would be Goldmember, wouldn't it? Wouldn't Goldmember be one of them?
Goldmember. It's an Austin Powers film. You fuck.
Well, no, Goldfinger. Goldfinger was the corresponding Bond film. That's the thing, though, is all of the Austin Powers titles have a corresponding name to a James Bond film. Like, there's Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
I'm trying to remember. It was based on the one that was between Thunderball and On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I can tell you literally all of the other ones.
I think it was Goldfinger.
No, because Goldfinger was number 3.
It's almost like you could possibly have some sort of Google search engine.
Back to my point. Back to my point. Like I hadn't really seen these movies, and like you have that appreciation that Austin Powers kind of were like pretty accurate when it comes to a lot of their jokes. So I give them that.
Yeah.
Like the one thing that was pretty accurate in those movies is he had the chairs that would fall underneath and they'd fall into shark tanks.
Yeah.
That shit's accurate. That actually happens like a fair amount in these James Bond movies.
Yeah. So I know, Childy, before we get into this, you like to go on to the fuck scale. What do we have on this one? I think
absolutely.
It ranks pretty high.
Yeah, it ranked pretty. It started out really strong. Lots of fucking right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. One thing that I like, though, one thing that I really like about this movie is that James Bond fucking was the final punchline of the film.
That's true.
Which was
it usually
which was a really good. Yeah. But in this one, everybody sees him fucking, and he is like, he's not supposed to be fucking that girl, and they're like, what are you doing? And he was like, just working on relations. Close curtains. Punchline. Fucks Finn. Great bit.
So 1 to 10, what are you feeling on this one?
I'd say this one's 7. I'd say it ranks probably about the same as Live and Let Die.
Right.
It still doesn't fuck as much as Thunderball. Because let's be honest, like I don't think there'll be a Bond movie that has as much fucking as Thunderball. But yeah, it starts off with him fucking. First thing you see is him fucking. There's also another guy. Who's fucking a girl that James Bond ends up fucking at the end of the movie. And you see him fuck this girl, and then he goes and fights James Bond, and James Bond kills him. And she was in love with the first guy, but James Bond fucks her anyways. Lots of fucking.
All right.
Yeah.
Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the movie a bit.
There was another fuck bit like somewhere in halfway through the movie, but I don't remember. One thing I noticed about this movie is that they've started to make every single female in this franchise like extremely beautiful with large racks because they knew that like in the old days when they had characters like that, the people would be like, oh, that's one of the people James Bond fucks. But now they're messing with us because they're making them all like that.
Like the hotel receptionist.
Yeah, I recall the hotel receptionist quite vividly.
As well as the helicopter lady, the lady who was in the helicopter and he winked at her while she was shooting at him. That was a good bit. But let's actually talk about this movie. Of course, this is a continuation of James Bond, and this movie actually proved that this James Bond series is the exact same. It's like the same series as the original, which with Sean Connery. It's the same James Bond because she talks about his wife who died on Her Majesty's Secret Service, and he gets real crotchety about it. I enjoyed that little link back.
I do like those little Easter eggs. Roger Moore, man, he's good.
Yeah.
That's
he's no Connery, but he's so good.
Yeah, but like it's one thing you like notice straight out. Like people will be talking, and then like Roger Moore takes the spotlight, and you're like, oh man, this dude is good.
Yeah, there were Triple X. The main girl in the movie was named Triple X. We're getting back to these porno names, but the main girl was named Triple X, and she was not a very good actress.
She was a terrible secret agent.
Yeah, that's true. She puts everything aside for fucking, but then again, so does Bond. But who cares?
So in this one, we have a bad guy who wants to make an underwater city. Argo Atlantis. What do you remember? What his name was even? Like
it was like Surluxembourg or something weird
That's
like
not
that.
correct.
Suremberg.
Nope, none of those.
Stop trying. But these normally end up in caves, so this was like a little bit refreshing.
He had that sweet underwater spider fortress.
Yeah. Don't worry about that right now. Anyway.
It's Stromberg. Carl Stromberg was the villain.
Okay.
I was kind of close.
No, you weren't.
Yeah. Sir Borg is not right. This one had like a lot of locations. Like first they were in Egypt or something, and they were underwater, and then they were somewhere else.
Lots of underwater times. There was that giant boat scene.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
really
amazing.
Cool. When frickin' Bond led like the revolution with the submarine captains. That was badass.
This grenade game's so heavy.
One thing I did notice about this one is it had some of the best Q devices we've seen thus far.
Yeah, the fucking hookah gun! The hookah gun! Oh, amazing!
The hookah gun is one I was thinking of specifically. And the underwater car, which is heavily featured. And,
yeah. Speaking of which...
It's really the first, like... Well, no, there was a cool Bond car last time, but this is like the first one that was like super cool.
Yeah, like a spy car.
This
He also
movie...
mailed Bond a jet ski at one point.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he had a fucking make your own jet ski kit.
And then he's like, there was like the weak Navy guy that was like bringing it to him. He's like, "Let me help you."
Yeah.
But one of the best scenes. Look, I've seen all the Bonds that are previous to this, and I've seen almost all of them that are after this. And the most badass scene I've ever seen in a James Bond film happens in The Spy Who Loved Me. It's the scene right after they're in the underwater with that car, and he just decides to fucking drive onto the beach. Just fucking drive through water, and everybody's like, oh my god, and he's like, don't give a fuck. And you know what else I noticed? When he comes up from underneath, he's got his arm hanging out the window, and it's like, bro, did you have the window open when you were down there?
No, he opened the window to drop the fish out the window. That was the entire point.
Oh yeah, there was the fish bit. That's amazing though, like so badass.
I think the two things that got tied for most badass for me in this movie were either when Bond shoots and impales two men with a harpoon gun that he just beat the shit out of someone with, or when he shoots the villain in the dick twice.
Yeah, Yeah, that's another thing too, is that when he kills the villain, usually he finds some sort of sneaky or clever way to do it. Not in this movie. He
Nope.
just fucking unloaded a full fucking round on this guy.
I really like that too, because it's a lot different than the rest of them have been so far. So that was cool. You know what we haven't talked about yet?
Oh, I know. I was about to.
All time.
I was about to mention it myself. Fucking Jaws.
Jaws.
Not only the greatest henchman, but possibly not possibly the greatest Bond villain in the entire franchise. Jaws is
People with a strong jaw.
I'm very confused. He's got to be like a cyborg or something, right?
yeah, that's what I was
Like, we
thinking.
see him basically Terminator survive like 10 different situations that should have killed him easily,
Mm-hmm.
and then he also has the strength to break chains and many other things with his metallic jaws, which, I mean, having metal jaws means maybe they won't break if you're chewing on a chain, but it doesn't give you the strength to bite through it.
It's true, because like even like in that scene after they beat the shit out of him and they topple an entire building on him, and then he walks out and just starts destroying that car with like his hands and shit. It's like, how is he that strong? Like,
And he fucking stops the car when it's in reverse and pushes it forward. No, you can't do that. That's not how humans work at all.
He's got to be a Terminator.
I agree. I also really like the part where Jaws wrestles with the shark and then eats it.
oh yeah, that was
That part was awesome.
Oh, Jaws. And the best part about Jaws is that he is also the villain in our next film, the next film in the franchise, along with Hugo Drax as well. It's a movie I'm very familiar with. I'm very excited to talk about. It's Moonraker, of course. But we'll get to that in a bit. But we still got.
You know who we were missing? We didn't get the sheriff.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, where was Sergeant Peppers?
Sergeant Peppers.
A.W. Pepper.
He probably Louisiana, where he resides.
Most likely.
Yeah, but they fucked around in Egypt a lot. No, I don't know. Watching this movie, there's that part where him and Jaws are sort of walking, and the girl, they're walking in like this pyramid place with all these pillars, and they're trying to find each other. And I was like, it reminded me of the level in GoldenEye that was based on that. Well, because it was based on that. That's like the pyramid, and I was like, that's fucking where that came from. That's amazing. That's amazing.
I didn't feel like they weren't in Egypt for that long in this movie, and they were just there to like
show the pyramid and the Sphinx and stuff. But
like it didn't have much to do with anything really.
Yeah. Also, one thing I thought was really, really weird is that they just kind of. Why did all this stuff that they were doing, why did it just so happen to take place at the pyramid and the Sphinx? Was it literally so they could just have those things in the movie?
It was because it was a public place, right? Because what was happening there is the one dude was going to sell the microfilm to the Russian chick, or not sell the microfilm, but tell her where to go to get it or whatever. But what happened was, so he wanted to do it in a public place so she couldn't kill him. But then the guy saw Jaws hiding off in the darkness, and then he got freaked out because he figured Jaws was such a badass that Jaws would kill him anywhere.
And then Jaws bit through the lock!
Yeah.
He bit through a lock! So good. So good. Oh, man, Jaws is so good. May he rest in peace. Thank you, Richard Kiel.
Yeah, Richard Kiel's the king. So then after that, we go to... We didn't mention this, but there's a badass 70s skiing scene at the very beginning of this. There's a lot
that was my favorite. The music and like
that's when James Bond kills Triple X's boyfriend.
He has bell-bottom snow pants.
Oh, you're goddamn right. Let's talk a little bit about the music, like the Bond song. It's not a good one. Definitely not a good Bond song.
You don't think that was a good one? It was literally a song all about how good Bond was at fucking. I thought you would love that song. I thought that would have been your favorite one.
Not really my thing, but one thing I did like was the opening credit scene, because it was really a glimpse into what James Bond opening credit scenes were today. Before, they were just kind of, like projecting movie scenes onto women. Like, let's be honest. Like, that's all it was for a while. But in this one, we had the weird stuff where you'd have, bitches dancing on guns and, people shooting and you fire
it
the
felt like
stream.
naked gymnastics to me. Just like a good 10 minutes of naked gymnastics. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
How dare you? But this was a really good opening scene. I don't know. I did enjoy the content of the song, but
execution very poor.
Yeah, the execution wasn't so good.
Fair enough.
Kind of lame.
But this is this is a super good Bond movie. I just want to say that, like.
Oh, absolutely.
I know we've been jumping around to everything that happens in this movie, but like.
Overall.
It's one of my favorites that I've seen so far. So.
I'd say it's probably about maybe a little better, if not on par with Man with the Golden Gun.
Mm-hmm.
Which if you tuned in last
3 nipples, man, you can't really beat that.
That's true.
If you tuned in last week, you'll know.
And there was a midget, Brad.
Hey, whoa, hey!
Whoa.
Can't say that word. Whoa, easy there, Hardner.
You're the least politically correct person I know. You can't tell me to say anything.
Whoa. But no, yeah, if you tuned in last week, you'll know I really liked Man with the Golden Gun, and I really like this movie. I think we're in that golden age now, though, where we're gonna have a few really fucking good Bond movies in a row. I know we got Moonraker coming up next, which is one of my favorites. Then Octopussy's coming up as well, which is another one of my favorites.
After that, we could do the bootleg James Bond after that because it came out same year as Octopussy.
Yeah, we're for sure gonna do Never Say Never Again. Like, I looked at some screenshots. He's for sure too old. Like at that point.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm so excited. I cannot wait to check it out. But Roger Moore's doing good. I'm not super excited.
Before we jump off this, I know we've covered pretty much everything, but that last couple, like the last 20 minutes when they like invade the boat and then they have to like stop the rockets from blowing up everything. And another thing about like the rockets, they were like when they did land, they like nuked up. Like they weren't even.
They were nuclear missiles, bro.
Yeah, but
they blew up nuclear submarines.
Yeah, I guess. All right.
Yeah, it would nuke up hard.
I mean, they probably just fucked up the entire ocean's ecosystem forever. I mean,
oh yeah.
That was basically like dropping 4 nuclear bombs into the ocean.
So America was the first people to use nuclear weapons, and James Bond was the second.
Pretty much.
Great movie, though. Absolutely check it out.
What do we got next, Charlie?
Let's move on to our. I keep wanting to call it a Bond movie because I don't know. To me, it's sort of like that Never Say Never Again kind of movie where Pierce Brosnan decided, hey, I still want to be James Bond, but Daniel Craig's doing it now. So here's the November Man.
This was sort of different, though.
Yeah, they said fuck and had titties in it, so. And Brosnan didn't fuck.
It's more of like a Taken style thing than anything.
Yeah.
Like it's less like a trying to be James Bond and more like let's just be action dad.
I mean, he's trying to relive his youth, but he's reliving it in a different way. He's
all right, yeah. I redact my statement.
He has a whole new genre, which I like to call action dad.
Everybody loves a little good action dad. He's
The November Man is an action movie with Pierce Brosnan and some other kid.
Baby, it's the baby.
Yeah, he looks like
Bond against the world.
He looks like Chris Pratt mixed with James McAvoy, like a lot.
Yeah, he had the flesh-colored beard, you know.
The whole Chris Pratt gag.
Yeah.
But he was too scrawny to be either of those guys too.
And he also didn't seem like generally what secret agents look like.
He kind of had like what's his face? A Bond, not a Bond, a Bourne kind of spin to a little bit.
Sure, yeah. He was
yeah.
But again, Pierce Brosnan doesn't look very strong either. Like he's got pretty like skinny dad.
I don't know. He's got shoulders, bro.
Yeah, but like his arms aren't very big. Like I don't know if he could lift me.
He's showing his age.
I mean, if we're comparing him to Liam Neeson, sure he looks like a pussy, but come on, it's unfair to make that comparison.
Yes, I don't disagree with that. So
But yeah,
I know this movie it doesn't start out super interesting.
you get the Chris Pratt guy shooting a kid,
Oh yeah, that did happen. No,
which
I'm
was
just
really
saying like
good.
the first like half an hour, not a lot of interesting things happen, and then it gets to a tipping point where all of a sudden it gets really good. Like
I
Yeah, well,
think
it
I
was, it
think
was kind of like all intrigue to set the score and like give your characters their motivation, and then she just kind of started to wrap off in like succession because we'd set up all the dominoes. So it's kind of like when you're a kid and you spend that time setting up all the dominoes so that you can knock them all over. It's waiting for that to happen, which, I mean, it's not the most pleasant half an hour, but it's pretty nice to see them fall over later.
it's
one thing I noticed about this movie, and like this is just gonna like I'm gonna sound so sexist throughout this entire episode, but it got really interesting legitimately when the kid started fucking. From the fuck scene on, it was actually really fun to watch.
well to that point. One of the bad guys is a chick in this.
Yeah, that's true. But our main villain, of course, is an angry, corrupt, bald person who's he's like a politician of some sort, or he runs the CIA or something like that, and he's teamed up with Russia to take over Russia or something like that.
He was the
But
minister of
Brad
weapons.
doesn't actually know what happened in this movie. Do not listen to his summation.
the action and Pierce Brosnan's performance are really laudable in
He
this
was,
movie.
I believe, he was the minister of weapons or some such at the CIA.
But
Yeah.
he ends up leading their Russian ops later on once they basically he uses the fact that he's got this Russian general in his pocket who's about to become the prime minister of Russia to become the head of the CIA's Russian branch or whatever.
Branch.
Branch.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought the plot was kind of weak. I don't know. They were trying to introduce too much, and then
It's
I don't
pretty
know.
standard from an action movie point of view. Hardner called the kidnapping of the daughter real early.
Yeah, super early actually.
If
But
there's a daughter and a dad in a dad film, that daughter's getting kidnapped, man.
That is absolutely correct.
I don't know. This sort of reminded me, and such a strange link to make, but this sort of reminded me of the Da Vinci Code because you had your action dad, and he was just a regular guy who didn't do anything wrong, and suddenly the government wants him, and he's trying to save a girl who accidentally got caught up in the whole thing. Very Da Vinci Code, action daddy.
Yeah,
type
I don't
movie.
remember that much about Da Vinci Code.
It's not very good, but
You think that's the origin of the Action Dad movies? Because that came out a long time ago.
I wouldn't say it's the origin, but I'd say it's definitely one of the flagship action dad movies.
All right.
But I don't know. This movie had really, really good action, and that's what you want. I didn't care about the story. I knew what was going on, but I just didn't give a shit. I
I
really,
think mostly because it was like fairly standard and had a lot of tropes in it. So
yeah. And then it was like, I don't know. And then she went and tracked down that general who attacked or killed her family, and it was like,
there was
can we
that
just-
one scene in this movie when Pierce Brosnan is like at the table and he's like gonna cut the chick.
that shit was
It's
amazing.
banged. And it was like one of the most intense scenes I've ever seen. Like,
It was
Yeah,
that
that
was
was awesome.
really good, really good. I just wish that whoever wrote that scene had wrote the rest of the screenplay. Because it literally felt like a different kind of writing style in that scene only. You know what I mean?
I can see that, I suppose. But I doubt it actually is someone different that wrote that scene.
I doubt it is too, but I just like to believe it. I want that scene to just be a movie by itself, and I will like that movie and only kind of like the rest of this movie. It was fun to watch. Like,
Well, Pierce,
Colby and I were
Pierce is a
talking.
good actor, but like he just hasn't been in anything good in a long time.
Yeah, Colby and I were talking about this while we were watching it, and like it came to our attention that like our dads would love this shit.
Oh yeah, my dad would love this movie. It's a dad action movie, man.
Yeah, my dad's big into Taken, so my dad would fucking be all over this action.
Bourne is like my favorite, or my dad's favorite movie. The Bourne.
Actually, so it is. I just watched the first two Bourne movies with my dad last weekend.
And like it's sort of similar to that. It's like in the same vein to me. It's about like corruption in the CIA, and that's a lot of what Bourne is about. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, this movie, it had a lot of tropes. It was pretty standard, but for the hour and 40 minutes that I was watching it, I was enjoying it. Past the 30-minute mark. Also, there was a fuck scene, which was pretty cool.
I mean,
fuck scene is
it's
pretty
not
low.
like incredibly memorable. I don't know if I would watch it again necessarily.
No,
It's not bad though. If someone put it on, I wouldn't be like, get that shit out of my face.
That's true.
If my dad called me and was like, want to watch a movie tonight, I'd be like, yeah, download November Man, let's do it.
Yeah, I might even recommend it next time my dad asks for a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see it as a recommendation for the father.
Yeah.
In your life.
This is for all you people out there who are still thinking about what to get your dad for Christmas.
Yeah. We do gift recommendations.
That actually wouldn't be a bad gift. Get him the Blu-ray of November, man. Your dad would like that probably.
Yeah. I mean, if
I might do it. I hope my dad doesn't listen to this podcast.
Nice. I met.
Your dad doesn't like anything to do with you, Brad. Just accept that.
That's true. That's true. If you've ever met my dad's a big fan of making fun of me in front of my friends.
And on the internet in general.
And on the internet on Facebook.
Facebook comments, they're my favorite thing ever.
Dad comments.
Yeah, my dad's big on it. He does it to everyone in my family too, though. Like he even does it to my mom. It's all just angry, like you're stupid and I'm not comments. But you know, we're talking about my dad now, and I don't know why.
Bobby Fox is
Dad podcast.
Bobby Fox is the original troll, though. So.
Yeah,
It's true. Phil Bob.
My dad don't.
The day he was born, man.
My dad signed up for the internet, which I just realized. My dad signed up for the internet like 2 years ago, and ever since, like, he just knew exactly what the internet was like before he got into it. I was like, I heard people are kind of shitty on the internet, so I gotta be shitty.
That's fucking fantastic.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, I don't know. There's not much more we can say about this. Buy for your dad. Your dad might like it. Very dad-like movie.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't think I'd ever watch it again, but I had a good time while I was watching it past the first unwatchable 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's not that bad, but
I don't know. The scene where Pierce Brosnan was like, don't have relationships. They'll just get you into trouble. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Jesus. Nobody cares. So yeah, I would say, see it once. See it once.
That seems about right.
I think that's about everything that we had to cover today.
Yeah.
Or how we doing for time?
We got about 10 minutes left.
Got about 10 minutes. Oh, I'm trying to think of a Chadley rants now.
Well, isn't Pitch Perfect 2 coming out, Chadley?
Oh, Jesus. Okay. All right. Pitch Perfect might be the worst movie that's come out in the last 5 years.
I kind of like it.
See, Colby kind of likes it, but
I never saw it.
But one thing that I really hate about this movie, for anybody watching on the YouTube, this is for anybody watching on the YouTube. Basically, the reason I hate it is that it taught little girls that this is music. So seriously, fuck.
You almost had a beat going there. Actually, that wasn't too bad.
Oh yeah, because it's not hard. It's not musical, partner. It's not music. I hate Pitch Perfect for so many reasons. One thing that I do like about Pitch Perfect is that Anna Kendrick is very good. But we got in that movie. We've talked about this before when we were talking about Melissa McCarthy, but I'm gonna direct this more at Rebel Wilson.
Oh yeah, zero talent. Zero
talent. I can't do Rebel Wilson. She's not funny, and everything is, look how stupid and fat I am, and it's like, good job, Australian. Well done. And Australian, stupid, fat, and Australian. Good for you. I'm very glad that you're sharing how stupid you are with the world.
I would say she's a zero talent.
Yeah, absolutely zero talent.
I thought Melissa McCarthy was also a zero talent, but after I seen her in like a serious role, I was about 10% talent.
Yeah. There's some talent there. Every movie that she doesn't make a fat joke about herself, her talent goes up 5%.
Yeah.
Every movie that she does make a fat joke on, though, down 5%.
down by 100%.
Yeah, yeah. The second she goes back to that trope, it's all over for her.
No, but like, what's the last like couple movies she did? There's one with Sandra Bullock, fucking unwatchable.
Oh, yeah, The Heat.
The Heat, yeah. There's like Tammy or something. I just saw like.
Oh yeah, Tammy is so bad.
I saw it in Redbox today. I'm like, who gets that? Like.
You see it, it's like fucking sold out in Redbox, and you're like, what the fuck? I was like, one time I saw like, I was at one of those Redboxes, and I was just sort of scrolling through, and one of the movies in there was some shitty, obviously straight to DVD Pac-Man movie, and it said sold out, and I was like, who the fuck is watching that straight to DVD
Pac-Man?
Pac-Man?
One copy in there. So.
They got all the copies. There's actually like 20 in there. He's like, I need them all. He's got like 20 screens of Pac-Man straight to DVD just surrounding him while he eats popcorn and plays Pac-Man.
Listening to other people try to decide what to rent on the Redbox might be the worst thing you could ever watch in your life. It's so frustrating because you know they're going through and like you want to be like, that movie, but they're like,
You
oh,
just
Hercules.
step up, push them aside, and choose for them.
they're looking through and they're like,
good movie.
They're like, oh, I don't know if I want to watch. Just for an example, let's think of a good movie. I don't know if I want to watch The Shawshank Redemption. Oh, Hercules with The Rock. I like The Rock. Do you want to get Hercules with The Rock?
I think Grand Budapest is in there right now, right beside Hercules. So that's
You see people skipping over Grand Budapest Hotel, and you're like,
They're like, ooh, The Rock. He looks strong in this one.
Do you think he's strong? Well, it's about Hercules. I'm only buying this if it's got calves for days.
Well, you're in luck, man.
I don't know. I just
for weeks actually.
So many dumb people at the Redbox. So many dumb people. And you know who are the most dumb people? Is that, like, I'm just gonna go out and say, is fucking kids at the Redbox are really annoying. Like,
well, kids aren't smart, Chadley.
I know, but sometimes it's sometimes it's wildly frustrating when I see a kid at a Redbox because the kid will like look at something good and be like, that looks stupid, without even knowing what it is. They'll look at the title and be like, well, that sounds dumb.
Did you have good taste in movies when you were a child, Brad?
No, he didn't.
Yes, I did.
I mean, you barely have good taste in movies now.
Dude, do you know who my parents are? I was raised on film school douchebaggery. I saw Shawshank Redemption for the first time when I was 9, and The Godfather for the first time when I was 11. My parents made sure I was fucking medicated. Not medicated.
You still liked a lot of shitty movies over the years, though, Chadley. So.
That's true. I did. There was a stint when I was a kid where the only movie that I would watch on repeat was a TBS copy that I taped off of TV of What's the Worst That Could Happen with Danny DeVito.
Jesus.
There was a time when I had an obsession with John Leguizamo, so I watched The Pest, of course Super Mario Brothers. I enjoyed the Ice Age sequels at one point.
Perspective for you people.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like I have pretty decent taste now. I
guess.
It's all rightish, I guess. I don't know. People at the Redbox though, go fuck yourself.
Well, that's the thing though. Like when you see someone at the Redbox, you know they're either gonna have decent taste and they'll get something good, or they have the worst taste in the world. Like.
Well, most people who use Redbox are stupid because they don't realize that they have like Netflix and the internet and stuff. So yes, I don't know.
That might actually be why they put such shitty movies in the Redbox. Because it's for old people and people who don't understand the internet.
I honestly believe that Redbox was invented for people who didn't understand that, having Blockbuster anymore was an outdated concept. That's all that's for.
That might be true. So I think that's pretty much it. What are we watching next week, Chadley?
Next week we got a few good movies on the block. Of course, we have Morgan Freeman and Scarlett Johansson in the classic Lucy. We're gonna see the classic. I've heard it's pretty good. We're gonna check out Eddie Redmayne in The Theory of Everything, and then of course Of course, I'm watching this tonight. I'm so excited. I'm so excited right now. We have fucking Moonraker. James Bond Moonraker.
Stroking off under the table right now.
Absolutely. I'm wearing a fucking. I'm only wearing a loincloth under here. There is the loincloth.
Jesus.
But
you can't unsee that.
we got Moonraker next, which is so fucking good. So fucking good. I'm so excited. So make sure that you tune in next week.
It's really funny if it didn't hold up. Like, Brad just hated it this time.
He's seen it recently.
Okay.
Can't happen. I saw it about a year ago. I also watched Jason X recently. So good. So good. Fish out of story in it, or Fish Out of Water and Onto the Moon is my favorite movie genre.
It's true.
I do love me some Fish Out of Water. That's why I liked Interstellar so much.
Head on over to punchnerds.com and check out our shows. We're going to be on again next week, so come check out this show.